Good morning. This is Dr. Tim with the Dr. Tim Experience. This morning while cutting the grass, I had some thoughts about what makes us who we are. Who's really in charge of who we are and what we are capable of. And it made me think of a story or an experience in my life where I had a hard time in school, elementary, middle school, high school, all of it. And, today looking back, knowing what I know, there was likely some learning deficiencies that I had. I wouldn't call them disorders or label them as anything specific, but there were definitely some difficulties that I had that weren't recognized early enough to maybe help me figure them out and work through them. So this made school really tough for me. My grades weren't great all the way through first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. And then in the seventh grade, as I was feeling I'm not going to make it. School is too hard. I'm failing my classes, I'm not passing. I want to do better, but I don't know how. I met a teacher. This teacher was my physical education teacher in the seventh grade. And as much as he would maybe call kids names in kind of a goofy, fun way, like, don't be such a moron, probably wasn't the most appropriate thing, but he made us accountable. He made us accountable for our actions. He made us accountable for the skills he was trying to teach us. And he really pushed us to be better, to be greater at what we were doing, whether it was running the mile, doing a shuttle run, push-ups, crunches. He would be very interested in people gaining and achieving in these activities. And he would remember how much you may have gained. He would remember where you started, and he would push you to do a little bit more. And when you did, he would compliment you. He would spend a moment and tell you how that was an impressive achievement, and he knew that you could do it. And he posted achievements in and around the physical education gymnasium. And it was always wonderful to see those, especially if you were somebody that wanted to achieve more. And I found myself really pushing myself to get my name higher and higher on that board of achievement. This particular physical education teacher was also the track coach. I was never involved in athletics. As much as I wanted to do baseball with my friends, it was just something that was financially not affordable for our family. So I didn't. Went to the park a lot. I ran a lot up and down our road. And I found myself sprinting. I measured it out to be about 100 yards, but it was probably very inaccurate at the time. But I would run that back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But this showed in physical education, and this particular physical education teacher, his name is Mike Santos, whom I have acknowledged him in some of my achievements in life already, and I'll do it again here in this video. Thank you very much for what you did for me. I am truly grateful for the pushing you did and the encouragement in my abilities. So to make this story a little bit shorter, he got me to run in the track team, on the track team, for the track team. And I ran sprints, and I was very fast. I mean, granted, I was, 12, 13 years old, so however fast a 12 or 13-year-old was. But what I found in running these sprints, I was almost always in the front. Not number one, sometimes number 2 or 3, maybe even number 4. But this was even running against children that were older than me. And that made me feel good. And he always complimented my achievements in running. He would push me. He would make me work harder. He made me work, and no one has ever made me accountable. I had to do things as a child. There were certain chores and responsibilities. I had no choice, so I just did them. And I did them to the best of my ability because I didn't know any better. But when you have someone encouraging you and pushing you and driving you to do something better and acknowledging when you do, it makes it so much more worth doing. And it gives you a sense of pride and achievement. And I will say that even though that was so early in my life and it took me a long time to get to where I am today, those moments with him and his coaching and pushing and acknowledging were priceless to where I am today, what I have achieved, and how hard I've worked to stay where I am. And what that tells me is I was a young boy already ready to give up, already ready to face that I'm going to be poor like my family. I'm going to work a 9-to-5 job or more. I'm going to live paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes that's not even enough. But through his pushing and my hard work, I realized more than anything, I'm in charge of who I become. I am in charge of the greatness that I can have in life. And even through struggles, you can set yourself up. You can make a plan, whether it's a 1-year plan or a 4-year plan or a 10-year plan. You can make a plan and follow it through. My plan was to basically succeed. The unfortunate part of this story is I left middle school feeling on top of the world and able to achieve great things. And entering high school, I have to say I had a fairly challenging childhood. And by the time I got to high school, I was tired, and I wasn't sure how I was going to make things work. So I joined the football team, which was a mistake. I probably weighed $120 and didn't have much muscle to speak of. I had a strong heart, but I guess I didn't have a strong desire. I just wanted to do what the other boys were doing. I made it through the whole season without dying, thankfully, or breaking anything. And then I was very encouraged by the track coach approaching me at the end of football season, asking me if I was going to be running for track. And I said, absolutely, that is what I'm looking forward to. By the time the track season started, my grades were horrible again. I started the track season off, and I was still very fast. I was still very competitive. But I was left to my own push and my own drive, and it just wasn't there. I feel more that I was in survival mode for getting through life at home and trying to figure out how to get out of my home. A little bit into the track season, I unfortunately never competed because I quit. I decided that it's not worth it. I don't have the time. I have to think about other things, so I quit. And I don't like to live with regret. I don't think that it's healthy. But I will say that there is definitely some regret in my mind because I feel like I had it in me to push through that and achieve great things. But I didn't. My choice to quit was just done. And I continued to quit. I quit on doing my schoolwork. I quit on being present at school. And it's not for lack of somebody not reaching out to me. I did have people reach out and try to give me some encouragement. And I remember that. But at the time in my life, it wasn't enough. I just knew that I wanted more from life, and I didn't know how to get it. So after dropping out of high school, I realized I needed to achieve more. So I thought the military would be a good idea for me. But you needed a diploma, high school diploma or equivalent, to get into the military. So I dug deep back inside myself, and I said, it's time. Pull your pants up and make this happen. And I did. I received my GED from an adult education school, and I was very proud of myself. I made an achievement. And not to tell you the rest of my life story in this particular story, looking back at a center part of my growing up, my upbringing, there was a figure in my life that pushed me, that complimented me, that acknowledged my achievements, that really showed how proud he was of what I was able to do. And that really, really made a difference in that part of my life. And then when I lost that, I kind of lost my way for a while. So, with that said, I'm here for you. If you need some encouragement, if you need to learn something about your health or your wellness or yourself, I'm here for you. Whether you get something from stories or whether you get something from some things that I may teach, I will be happy to help you along in any way that I can. My life goal is to help people get out of their difficult times and to achieve the things that they want to achieve. So, with that said, in your health, you will find happiness, and I will help you find your health if you need me to. Have a wonderful day.